Welcome to this walkthrough guide on streamlining research with the new SciSpace Agent. If you're a student, professor, or researcher, you know the challenge of big data. Surveys like the SAMI Galaxy Survey have given us rich 3D data on thousands of galaxies, but this creates a new problem. You're drowning in a sea of publications, trying to find the specific results that you need. You spend countless hours trying to synthesize previous work, check instrument specs, and stare at a blank page, trying to write your next manuscript. It can feel like most of your time is spent on the paperwork of research and not on the discovery itself. But what if you could flip that? What if you could automate the most time-consuming parts of your research? That's where the SciSpace Agent comes in. In this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through a realistic research project from start to finish, using the SAMI Galaxy Survey as our guide to show you how to supercharge your work. Now, before we dive in, this video is sponsored by the team at SciSpace. They've given me access to the tool and compensated me for my time to create this walkthrough. They've also given me a special offer for all of you, so stick around to the end of the video to hear more about that. However, and this is really important to me, all the thoughts and opinions that you're about to hear are entirely my own. I'm genuinely excited to show you this because I've been testing it myself and I believe it can make a real difference to your research workflow. Okay, with that said, let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the feature that will likely save you the most time on a week-to-week basis: conducting a comprehensive literature review. Now think about the traditional way you do this. You have tabs open for the NASA Astrophysics Data System, the Archive, and Google Scholar. You run similar searches on each, export hundreds of citations, and then comes the painful process of finding and removing duplicates. After all of that, you still have to manually read through dozens of abstracts to find the truly relevant papers for your project. It is honestly a huge time sink. The SciSpace Agent turns this entire workflow into a single step. Let's go into the chat interface. A good prompt is like giving a clear set of instructions to a highly efficient research assistant. For our SAMI project, I'm interested in how gas and stars can move differently within galaxies. I'll type in a detailed request. Find recent studies on stellar and ionized gas kinematic misalignments in spiral galaxies. Focus on papers that use or reference the SAMI Galaxy Survey, remove duplicates, and give me a short summary of the key findings. Now let's break that prompt down. I've specified the topic, and crucially, I've asked it to focus on papers that are relevant to the SAMI survey. I've also given it key tasks like remove duplicates and give me a short summary. I'll hit enter, and now we watch it work. Look here on the screen. The agent is showing you its thought process. It confirms its plan, so it's searching the databases, then it's screening the articles based on my request, and it's filtering out the noise. This level of transparency is fantastic because you know exactly what it's doing at all times. And it's done. Let's scroll through the output together. On the right, we have our complete summary that we can easily copy and save for later. But on the left, we also have a concise summary along with the main discovery and some key scientific insights. But for us to continue our research, we have the papers listed as well as the years that they were published. This entire output is now ready to inform the introduction of my own paper. Okay, next up is a feature that will change how you interact with your personal library of documents. We all have that one folder that's overflowing with PDFs. When you need to find that one specific detail, like an instrument parameter, the process of finding the right paper and skimming it can be frustrating. The SciSpace Agent lets you have a conversation with your own documents. So first, let's get the main SAMI data paper into the system. I'll click on the Upload Files option and select the Kroom et al. 2021 paper, which describes the final data release. Once it's uploaded, the agent takes a moment to process it. What it's doing here is called embedding. It's reading and creating a searchable index of the entire document, so it can understand the context of our questions. Now that it's loaded, I can ask it just about anything. For my analysis, I need to know the exact spectral resolution of the SAMI instrument. Instead of hunting through the paper, I'll just ask, what is the spectral resolving power, R, for the blue and red arms of the AA omega spectrograph as used in the SAMI survey according to this paper? And there it is. Almost instantly, it provides me the answer. R is approximately 1,808 in the blue and 4,304 in the red. It pulls the exact information I need from the text. But we can go even further. Let's ask it a follow-up question. What was the primary criterion for selecting galaxies for the main survey sample? And look at that, it correctly identifies that it was stellar mass selection. This is what makes it so powerful. It's not just a search tool, it's an analysis tool for your own library. And now we're moving from understanding existing research to creating new content. For many of us, the most daunting task is starting from scratch on a new manuscript. The SciSpace Agent can provide an incredible launchpad by generating a full research draft. The key here is providing the agent with the right building blocks. I'm going to use the main SAMI paper plus 2 other key SAMI papers that I found earlier that deal with galaxy kinematics. Now, I'm going to give the agent a very specific prompt. I'll type, write a full introduction for a research paper on the spin of barred spiral galaxies in the SAMI survey. Use the 3 uploaded PDFs as the primary sources. Structure it with a general background, a literature review, and a concluding paragraph that outlines the aims of this new study. Make sure to include in-text citations. By giving it these instructions, I'm defining the scope and the format of the output. I'm asking it to perform synthesis, which is the crucial part. It's not just going to summarize each paper, it's going to weave the information from all of them together into a single coherent narrative. Now, let's watch it work. You can see its plan. It's reading my uploaded files, and it's structuring the document as I requested. Okay, now let's take a look at the result. Here's the introduction, setting up the problem. Notice the citations that are peppered throughout the text. And it ends with a paragraph that sets up the need for my new work. This isn't a final submittable manuscript by any stretch of the imagination. The researcher's critical thinking is still the most important ingredient. But this provides a comprehensive scaffolding or skeleton draft. It eliminates the intimidation of the blank page and lets you focus your expertise on refining the arguments. Now for this next section, I want to show you a feature that's genuinely revolutionary. In fields like medicine, researchers perform what's called systematic literature review, or SLR, which is a massive undertaking. Now, while the process in astronomy is different, we can use the same underlying power to perform a comprehensive, targeted review to ensure that no stone is left unturned. I need to be sure that I haven't missed any previous work on my specific topic within this large dataset. So I'm going to give the agent a detailed, multi-step prompt. Watch carefully. Do a comprehensive review of papers using the SAMI DR3 data to analyze galaxy mergers or tidal features. First, search all relevant papers. Second, screen them to exclude any that don't present original analysis. Third, for the included studies, extract their primary finding related to merger identification. And finally, compile this information into a summary table. Now, let's quickly unpack that, because there's a lot there. I've defined the topic, and most importantly, I've provided clear inclusion and exclusion criteria. These are the rules that determine which papers are going to make the cut. I then told it exactly what data to extract and how to present it. Now, let's take a look at the agent's plan here on the screen. As you can see, it's listing out the steps, just like a human researcher would. It's searching, it's screening abstracts, and it's applying my rules. Each one of these steps would normally take a human researcher hours, if not days. Now let's examine the output. Here is that summary table that I asked for. It lists the paper, the authors, and a bit of a summary on their key findings. This is honestly incredible. It confirms my research is novel and gives me a concise summary of all of the related work, saving me from having to read dozens of papers in full just to find out that they're not quite relevant. Now, great research is essential, but it almost always needs funding in order to happen. Now, finding the right grant is another one of those administrative burdens that takes time away from actual research. You have to scour government portals, foundation websites, and university newsletters. The SciSpace Agent streamlines this entire process too. The beauty of this feature is in its simplicity. You simply need to ask it a clear, direct question. So since the SAMI survey has strong Australian roots, and my hypothetical research is happening here, I'll be specific. I'll type, find current astronomy research grants in Australia that are suitable for postdoctoral work on galaxy evolution or kinematics. Sort them by the nearest deadline. So I've specified my field, my career stage, and my location. And you'll notice that I've added the vital instruction to sort by the deadline, which turns the output into an actionable roadmap. As you can see, the agent is now scanning its database of funding opportunities. And here we have the results. For each opportunity, we have the name of the grant, the funding body like the Australian Research Council, and the application deadline. Everything I need to get started is right here. Okay, and for our final core feature, we're going to look at something that helps you at the very last stage, which is getting feedback on your work. Peer review is the cornerstone of academic publishing, but getting a fresh perspective before you submit can dramatically increase your chances of acceptance. The SciSpace Agent can act as an impartial AI-powered first reviewer. So I'm going to upload the full draft of my paper, Kinematic Analysis of Barred Spiral Galaxies, in the SAMI survey. Once it's ready, I can ask for specific feedback. A detailed prompt will yield substantially better results here. I'll type, please act as a peer reviewer for this uploaded manuscript. Provide constructive feedback on the clarity of the abstract, the soundness of the statistical methods mentioned, check if the figures are referenced correctly in the text, and look for any major gaps in the reference list. Now, this next process is quite intensive, as the agent is going to perform a deep analysis of the entire document, so it does take a little bit of time to complete. For this video, I'm going to speed this part up, but the really cool thing is that we get to watch it work right in front of us. It's not happening in a black box. As you can see, it's building out a to-do list, breaking down the task into smaller chunks. It's planning to analyze the structure, check the statistics, review the figures, and then the references. It's essentially performing multiple individual reviews before bringing it all together into a final meta review. This level of transparency is amazing because you can see the thoroughness of the work being completed as it happens. Alright, and here is the final output. Instead of focusing on the specific comments, which will change for every paper, I want to highlight the structure of the feedback, because this is what makes it so useful. It begins with a brief editorial summary at the top, which highlights what the review will cover. Then we head into the areas of agreement. This is where all three of the reviewers agreed I showed some key strengths. Below there, we'll notice that we now begin to get into the areas where the reviewers have found some primary concerns. These are areas that I should be looking to improve. This includes some of the specific technical details that have been shown in my manuscript. And then finally at the bottom, we have the final editorial decision. This is going to let me know exactly where I need to focus on in order to improve my research. This structure makes the feedback incredibly easy to digest and act upon. You immediately know what to prioritize and have a clear checklist of what to improve. This is incredibly valuable, but it isn't about replacing human reviewers. It's about getting a comprehensive, well-organized checkup on your work that helps you make the best possible impression when you finally submit your work. So, let's just take a moment to recap our entire journey here. We started with a broad idea about galaxy evolution using the SAMI survey. Using the SciSpace Agent, we've refined that idea with a targeted literature review, interrogated the key data paper, and drafted an introduction to our manuscript. We then verified our project's novelty with a comprehensive review, found potential funding opportunities, and even got some pre-submission feedback on our draft. We completed an entire research project workflow, all built around a single coherent narrative. This is about reclaiming those hours spent on tedious tasks so that you can focus on what truly matters to you, which is the discovery. I really encourage you to get in there and experiment on this yourself. You can get started right now by going to scispace.com/chat. As I mentioned earlier, this is a sponsored video, so use the link in the description as it helps support the channel and lets them know that I sent you. And for viewers of my channel, SciSpace is offering a 40% discount on purchasing of additional credits for a limited time only. So be sure to reply to any of my social posts about this video and let me know which one of these features you're most excited to try in your own work, and I'll be sure to DM you my special promo code. Thank you so much for watching this walkthrough. I hope you found it really helpful. Now, go out there and make some breakthroughs of your own, and I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, be sure to check out the channel, and if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.